Hi, I'm Tracy from Vision Dynamics, and I'm here today to show you how to unpack, plug in, and get started on your iPal reader. So when you take it out of the box, you're going to have the reader itself right here. It weighs about 6 pounds. It's going to come out nice and light out of your box. And then there'll be actually 3 cords you'll find in your box. One cord is your keypad. And then 2 cords make up your power cord. Your power cord comes with the cord with the brick, and then one other cord that plugs into the brick and then plugs into the wall. We have it already plugged into the wall to save some time today, but I just wanted to point out that it will come out of the box in 2 pieces, that power cord. So you're going to need to plug the power cord into the brick, and then that part plugs into the back of your reader. So it's gonna come all compact like this. You're gonna lay it on the table, and then I'd first plug your power cord into the brick, and then get your brick plugged into the back of your iPal reader, and that's going to go into the back on the right hand side. You'll find a hole, a round hole that it plugs into in the back right hand side. Now I'm visually impaired, and I'm finding this pretty easy to set up. Then the only other thing you have to plug in is your keypad, and that's going to come around the back, and you'll find further to the left hand side of your iPal reader are some straight slots, and there's actually 2 of them. Your keypad can plug into either one, and it's just going to slide right in. And we're all set with anything we have to plug in. Your keypad's plugged in, your power cord is plugged in to the back right hand side. Now we can lift up the big arm, and it clicks into place, and then we take the camera and click that into place, and it's all set up. Now all we have to do is turn it on, and in the next section we'll go over the front panel and buttons on the reader itself. Now we're going to go over the front section of the reader and the simple buttons that are available to us. On the very front you have 2 buttons. The one on the left is the on-off button. The one on the right turns to be your volume. So I'm going to press the on-off button. I'm going to hold it in for a few seconds and let it go, and it's going to start warming up. It's going to play this piece of music. That's going to tell you that things are getting started. When that piece of music stops, then we're going to hear the camera do a little adjusting, and then there's going to be a lovely voice that's going to tell us to please place our document. Then we know we're ready to go. So I'm going to get a book ready here. This is just a simple hardcover book, not large print, something you'd get right out of the library. So now a friend could loan you a book you have around the house, you're going to be able to read with ease. So I've got it ready to go. The surface is about 8.5 by 11, so anything that size can sit on the surface. I'm going to be able to get both pages of this book on the surface. If it was a larger book, I might have to do 1 page at a time. Turn the volume up.
Please place your document.
So we've got our cue to place our document. So I'm going to lay it down, and it's going to take a picture. You will hear it. And then she's going to start reading.
Little Girl and the Tiger. It began with a phone call, a lady wanting a consultation. You are a medium, aren't you? She said quite aggressively, and before I could reply, she demanded an appointment for herself.
All right, now I've paused it. So I laid the book on. I didn't have to do anything other than just turn the reader on. When it told me to place my document, I placed the book, print side up. It can go in either direction. You may not realize if you're completely blind that the print is upside down. That's fine. The reader's going to be able to detect that and reverse and turn it correctly so it can read to you when it takes the picture. So those 2 very important buttons that are very prominent on the front, on the left is the on-off, on the right is your volume. I slid over to the right here, and there's a little door And I can feel that door because there's a horizontal line underneath the door that I press on and it opens the door. Behind that door are some buttons that will give me the ability to rewind, basically go back in text up a line until I get to the beginning of the text. That button is all the way to the left. In the center is the pause button. That's what I just hit to pause the reading. That's in the center. And then all the way to the right, there's a button, one on top of the other, two buttons. That will speed up and slow down the rate at which she reads. Now, another interesting feature is if I hold in that middle button, that pause button, it will begin the hands gesture command. I'm going to hold it in and press it.
Friend saying she had lost her dog. Gesture commands enabled.
Gesture commands enabled. Now that means is that I can wave my hand under the camera to stop and start the reader.
Herself and a friend saying she had lost
I've just
her
started it.
And wanted to
wave my hand
her.
left to right, and I've paused it. Now if I move my hand right to left, it'll go back a line.
She said quite aggressively, and before I could reply, "You are a medium, aren't you?"
I've been backing up as I wave my hand. It'll read a line as I do it. And then if I want it to start again, left to right.
"Oh, you," she said quite aggressively, and before I could reply, she demanded an appointment for her.
And I'll wave my hand to pause it again. Now, if I don't like that feature, I've had some customers who are completely blind. They're unaware exactly of where the camera is, so moving their hands, they're accidentally pausing the reader. So you can disable that by just holding the pause button in again for about 5 seconds, and it'll disable the gesture commands feature. So you don't have to have that. But it's nice when maybe the phone rings or a neighbor rings the doorbell and you quick want to pause and you don't want to have to try to feel for where the pause button is. You can just do it with your hand. So again, on the unit itself, the reader, all the way out front to the left is your on-off button. To the right of that is your volume. And then behind the little secret door, all the way to the right, when you open it up, you press down that horizontal bar. You've got your backup button all the way to the left in that section. The middle button is your pause, and all the way to the right is speed up and slow down. Let me quick demonstrate that.
Herself and a friend saying she had lost her daughter and wanted to contact her. Now, being a medium doesn't automatically mean that I'm a nicer or more tolerant person, though I do endeavor to control my thoughts about others. But I'm afraid this phone call nickled me, and something about this
slowing it down now
irritated me a little. So when I had written down her appointment in my diary,
speed it up.
By the side I put a question mark.
Okay, so the top button increases the speed, the bottom button slows it down. So that's a review of all the buttons that are on the front of your iPal reader. Before we move on to the keypad, I just want to review some of the other materials that the iPal reader does so well reading. Clearly, hardcover books, paperback books.
Place your document.
I've just cleared the surface, so she's preparing to take another picture. Now, if I took the book off the surface and I still wanted to listen to that page that she took a picture of, you can do that by just pressing the pause button again, and it'll continue to read.
Nickled me, and something about this woman irritated me a little.
Okay, I paused it again. So even though there's nothing on the surface, it'll continue to read from that image, that picture it just took, because we hadn't listened to the whole 2 pages before I was, moving on to something else. But I can, if I want, go ahead now and have it read anything. Newspaper. The best way for it to read newspaper is if you can isolate the best you can the article you'd like it to read and then lay it down. You can start getting your scores again on your favorite sports.
49-48 win over Hand SCC tournament first game on Thursday. Amanda Bradley scored points to lead East Haven 2-2-9, while Danielle Pullen added 18 points.
All right, Danielle. Okay,
please
so you can read your newspaper. Here's a magazine article. It could be your letters. You could open up your mail, lay your letter down, newsletters from your local senior center or church or wherever. going to take a picture. This is an article in a health magazine.
The Future of Pain Care. We have the technology lesson of EYI by Lloyd Siberski, MD. Managing chronic pain represents a major challenge for many patients. By Lloyd Siberski,
and one other thing I want to remind you is I have here, for example, the back of a light bulb box. So you could put down a brownie box on here, a cake mix box, and it would read to you the back of a box. But we also will have the ability for it to read fine print, maybe a small print on a business card. There's actually on the surface of the reader 4 dots, and anything that's placed within those 4 dots, the camera knows to go into fine print mode. So I'm going to take this small light bulb box and place it there, and you'll hear it do its work. She just said fine print mode. This is great for prescription boxes, medication boxes.
"13 watts, 12.000 hours, 3.9 inches, 99 millimeters, 1.8 inches, 46 millimeters. Asterisk. Lamp."
Okay, so now you can start to get the information off boxes. They're making the print smaller and smaller as they put more information on boxes. They're putting it in different languages, so it makes it very difficult to read. But now you can put it right underneath there. You can put a box that's only inches away from the camera. If it's a taller box and it's only a few inches away, it'll still take a picture and be able to read that. So you've got a lot of flexibility with your reader. I want to mention the keypad that comes with it. The keypad is great, so if you're sitting back and you don't want to have to sit right up against your reader, you want to sit back and control what you're listening to, you can do that right with your keypad. The keypad basically has 2 sections to it. The bottom section has 4 arrows and a circle in the center. That circle is the 3rd way that you can go ahead and pause what's being read to you. Remember, the first 2 ways, you've got a pause button on the reader itself, and then you can also do the hands gesture to pause, but on the remote you have a circle in the middle of the 4 arrows that will stop and start the reading.
Contains mercury. Manage according to local.
And I can pause it. Now the 4 arrows will move you around whatever it's reading to you. It'll move, the up arrow will move you back up lines.
Lamp contains mercury. Asterisk. Asterisk. 8 inches. 9 inches, 99 millimeters, 1.8 inches.
The down arrow will move you down.
Lamp contains mercury. Manage according to local, Nioposal laws.
Okay. The right and left arrow will move you forward and back word by word.
See www.lampris or 1 bottom of text.
And then the left arrow will move you back. So, and the same thing with if you had a book. Let's do that.
Or 1 8. Please place your document.
Okay, so we're going to put our book back down. And remember, the button behind that secret panel on the left will also move you back lines if you want to hear something over again.
After the sitting was over, Doreen and I talked for a little while, and she asked me what.
So I'm going to pause and show you how to go back word by word.
Me asked she, and
then go forward.
She asked me what.
All right. Now, so that's your bottom section of the iPal reader. The up and down arrow together with it, and you include the center pause button. If you press all 3 of those, what's going to happen is you can turn the light off on the camera. That might be helpful when you're taking pictures of magazine articles. Magazine articles will often have a gloss, maybe National Geographic. That's a very glossy magazine. If you turn the camera light off, it might help if you're getting some errors. When we press the up and down arrow after a picture is taken, if you're completely blind or very low vision, this is a helpful tool because it will tell you how many words are on the page, how many columns are on the page, what's on the page, so that you know you know, is it going to be a short, you know, if it only reads to you a short time and you're wondering, did it catch the whole page? You'll know because you'll have a description of the layout of the page. So let me...
2 columns, 2 main sections, 3 headers, 696 words, 96% text.
So it gives you a good feel for how much information is on that page. And the front and back arrow, the right and left arrow, pressing them will toggle you between column mode and table mode. That will give you the ability to read things like bills, where you've got a description on one side, an amount on the other, you know, things like that. Excel spreadsheets, if you're having something like that read to you, by pressing those 2 down, you can toggle back and forth. So we've reviewed and gone over all the buttons on the bottom part of the keypad. Now on the top, one of the first things I'll point out to you is a very smooth, it's above the up arrow, it's a very smooth button. This is a great button to remember because when you press this in, it will give you an overview of what we've just talked about as far as the reader goes and what buttons do what. The other thing is that when you hold that button down and press any of the other buttons in conjunction on the keypad, it'll tell you the function of that button. So let me give you some examples. I'm going to hold it in and we'll listen for a few seconds.
iPad allows you to read printed text and can save up to 4 pages on a keypad. You can control reading using your front panel buttons, keypad, or hand gestures.
So it's talking about what we just talked about, how you are going to be able to use the front buttons on your reader. Now what I'm going to do is hold that button in and press one of the buttons on the keypad.
iPad, when the down arrow is pressed, the next sentence is read. When the down and up arrows are both pressed, iPad will describe the page layout.
So it gave you both functions. It gave you, when I press the down arrow, the fact that the down arrow will move you down a line, but also it reminds you that with the up arrow will give you a description of the layout of the page. So if you forget, you just press that smooth button in and any of the buttons on the keypad and it'll tell you what that button does. Great tool. That's brilliant that ABIC did that. Now, the last 2 buttons on the top have a horizontal and vertical line here. And these 2 are involved in saving and recalling text. If you have the ability to save up to 4 documents, and all you need to do is to press, if I want to save this image that we took a picture of here, I'm going to press the button on the left with the vertical line and the up arrow.
The image saved.
Now that picture I took of the 2 pages, actually, that's why this is considered one image, is saved to that arrow. Now I can do that with the right arrow, the down arrow, and the left arrow. I can flip a page and take some more pictures and save them to those arrows. Things you may want to think about saving are you know, maybe your Social Security card, information from your Social Security card, or an important list of phone numbers, something that you're going to want to go back and recall and be able to listen to on a regular basis. So you move on, you're reading your book, and you want to go back and recall this page again. You're going to hit the top right button and the top arrow, and that's going to bring that page back. So the top right button has a horizontal line on it. I'm going to press that in, and the top arrow.
Image.
She just said processing image. She's bringing that page back.
View the rows. After the sitting was over, Doreen and I talked for a little while, and she asked me what I would do about the tape pounds I were.
So now she's reading the page that she took a picture of. And actually, as I said, it'll be both pages because it was able to fit in that 8.5 by 11 area. So we've reviewed the keypad, we've gone over the functions of the buttons on the front, and that's it for the reader. I want you to know that anytime you have questions, you can call us at Vision Dynamics. We're also available to help you with all kinds of products that you may need for blind or visually impaired people. You just reach us at 203-271-1944, or you can visit us at our website, visiondynamics.com. And I want to thank you for watching today.